It elongates the leg, I suppose, whereas if you flip the cuff, this bag contains the Levi's 501 shrink to fit in burgundy. Let's get it open. 40% off, huh? DoorDash. I've literally never used DoorDash in my life, but this came in there. That's kind of cool. Here are the Levi's 501 original fit. They sent, no, this is the right one. It's hard to see through here. I almost thought these were indigo. Let me get them out of here. Oh yeah, there we go. That is indeed the burgundy style, and it smells good. Well, I mean, it smells like denim. You know, it doesn't smell great. but it smells new, that's for sure. And these are a size 32 by 32. I have about a 31-inch waist naturally. That doesn't mean that I'm a size 31. Usually I can fit actually into like size 30 because vanity sizing. These are actually going to be closer to 34 at the waist. So they're like 3 inches larger than my natural waist size. And the reason why I went with a 32 is, well, 31s don't exist. Plus, when it comes to Levi's 501s, the thigh room is not going to be quite as wide for me, but this is why I tend to size up in the waist, is because I get extra thigh room. The bigger you go in the waist, obviously, the bigger everything is going to get proportionally. You can see this beautiful high rise on these jeans. These are again the burgundy ones. They have like they're like a brownish burgundy. It's very subtle, and I'm really digging how the denim is looking. The unique appearance of this garment is intended. It may change as a result of washing and wear. Follow care instructions. Washing may cause shrinkage and changes in appearance. Dark dyes may transfer onto other garments, upholstery, or skin. Wash separately or with dark colors. Yes, this does actually, or not this, but indigo itself will typically rub off onto your skin. When I have indigo stuff and I take a shower, you can see the blue come off your legs when you soap them up. Here's the back side. The back pockets are bar tacked, I believe. They're not hidden rivets in Levi's 501s, but everything else about the 5-pocket design is riveted, like the coin pockets, front pockets. Bar tacks are going to be just as strong. They're just not as nice looking. You have the Levi's red tag there. This is a paper patch, by the way. It's like a paper. It's fine, but you know, it's not really special like leather is, but I don't mind it too much here in Levi's shrink to fits. Looks quite wide as well. Like these must be wider than my Wrangler 13 MWZ opening, but they will shrink. These are a button up jean, by the way. No zipper. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I just put these on. I took off the tags. I guess they're in my huge pockets, because when it comes to Levi's, one of the things that people like most is that the pockets are super huge. If you compare them to something like Wranglers, Wranglers are considered quite small. Maybe I should move this, huh? Wranglers are considered quite small, and I think the Wrangler pockets are fine, but a lot of people do consider them small. I would consider Naked and Famous pockets very small. Now those are some baby ass pockets, but when it comes to these, super huge to the point where it's like it starts engulfing even my forearm, which is interesting. I don't mind it. I don't think it's too big, but I do think the Wranglers have the pocket sizing perfect. Let me take this jacket off so we can see it. The waist size for me is good. As I mentioned, it is, well, I haven't actually measured these yet. I'll do measurements on everything for the size 32 by 32, just so you have like a reference point. But again, bear in mind that these aren't always cut exactly the same, especially when it comes to Levi's mass marketing or mass producing these things, right? So I think these will actually end up becoming the perfect fit once I end up shrinking them. Again, these are raw shrink to fit jeans, so they haven't been shrunken yet. The intention is to shrink them slightly. Levi's back pockets are lower than Wrangler's back pockets. Wranglers would be like way up here, which I prefer. It makes it look better, but I definitely don't mind the classic Levi's kind of look. These absolutely do look like a straight leg to me, especially compared to my indigo versions of these, where they're super slim looking to me. They don't seem like they're 501s, even though they started off the same size. But yeah, I have the Red Wing Iron Rangers on. Check out that video. I have videos about other boots as well, other jeans. I'm not sure if I'm going to shrink these in the dryer, washer and dryer, or through the bathtub, which I've never done. I've never sat in jeans in a bathtub, but it seems like it'd be kind of fun for the channel. We'll see. I mean, when you're watching this video, you'll discover what I end up doing. Oh yeah, and these are going to be a little bit lighter in weight per square yard versus the Wrangler 13 MWZ, which is what these are. Quite thick, rigid. These are raw as well. They're not necessarily shrink to fits, but they do shrink, and you can kind of treat them as shrink to fits. Check out my video on the Wranglers. People love Wranglers, and so do I. I always will. But here's how much room I have, right? These are the size 32, and I have a 31-inch chest. So, or not chest. I have a 41-inch chest, a 31-inch waist, and that is how much room I have right there. This is like the appropriate amount that will shrink depending on how much you shrink them, honestly, because it depends on the method that you use and how much they're going to shrink. But when it comes to the waistband, for me, I don't mind it much at all being slightly big on me because they don't fall down. Like, I can wear these without a belt. And now after it's shrank, you can see I have like very little room, which is, you know, this is actually a better fit now than it was earlier. Not a huge gaping hole to my crotch. This pair specifically was made in Pakistan, which I think is considered somewhat of a good place for Levi's to be made, whereas countries like I think Egypt is good too, and Mexico, I don't know. I don't think there's really a standard, but certain countries make the Levi's a little bit better in the sense of like quality control. Throw them in the washer, doesn't really matter, it's gonna spin. But if they're clean, then you don't really need to use detergent or anything. But honestly, I don't think I'm gonna wash these too often, so let me just use a little bit of deodorant so that we have a little bit of nice smell to them. It's not really going to make a huge difference. It's not going to change the way that they shrink or anything, okay? So don't worry about detergent. But if you want to keep the color in indigo jeans particularly, a really good thing for that is to use white vinegar rather than the detergent. White vinegar will lock in the color and allow it to stay deeper for a little bit longer and fade slightly slower. So the best thing to do in your washer is probably to use the soak option, and once it's soaking, stop the washer so it doesn't go into the spin cycle. And the reason why a lot of people want to not wash their jeans in a washer in a spin cycle is because it will leave like these fine creases along the material depending on how it spins inside, because it spins at a high pressure, right? And it will start to fade in those crease spots because of the water and the pressure removing the indigo or the dye that's in there. But in a washer without the center bar thing in the middle, like those old school washers, one like this is honestly kind of fine to use a spin cycle. It's not that big of a deal. Just use your own discernment, honestly, and read my website because there's a lot of tips on there on stuff like this. And here they are after the wash. You can tell that I let it spin because you can see like tight creases in there, and those tight creases pinch the material, and that's what I mean by avoiding the spin cycle. For most people, I honestly don't care too much. Plus these are brown, not indigo, so like the fading on these are going to be a bit different than indigo, I imagine. I mean, I'm not even sure. I've never had brown kind of shrink to fit jeans like this, so we'll see how it turns out. Let me get these straightened out. So what you'll want to do is remove all the wrinkles and the creases as you're out here to dry it. And I'm also going to move that thing into some shade so that the high elevation sun isn't burning this. At elevation, the sun is 20% stronger than at sea level, so you know, you shouldn't really keep your stuff outside in direct sunlight, especially if it's like wet and it's a shrink to fit kind of thing like this. And there we have it, the Levi's 501 shrink to fit hanging up nicely in the shade out of direct sunlight. I'm just using random strings to keep it up by the belt loops, and it is open, so it will allow air to flow through the top. It'll allow air to flow through the bottom. And I straightened out the creases by hand, not really as much as I can. It's fine like that. Just you don't want any like deep creases. I also buttoned it up, so while the material is still wet, you want it to keep the shape that it is, like the natural jean shape, as if it's brand new. And then once it's dry or maybe slightly damp, just very slightly damp, you can put them on. Out in this very dry desert, somewhat hot day. These jeans have dried fairly quickly. Let me get this jacket off so you can see. And I do have the measurements in the description, all of them. I have the waist measurements, the thigh, knee, leg opening, the seat, which is basically like the back, and the inseam, which is pretty good. This is kind of the fit that I wanted on these jeans, pretty much spot on. And as I said, I did a cold wash in the washer and then I just line dried them, and this is pretty much my ideal fit with Levi's 501s. I would say they have that nice kind of high rise, and the waistband is now perfect. I don't need the belt. I didn't necessarily need it earlier or before, but it is way more my size now. For those that maybe like to cuff, these are the Red Wing 877 boots. I did a review on these as well. Amazing. Less than $200 for a pair of boots that now retail for close to $400. After tax, you're basically paying $400 all in. But these ones, no tax, $200, and they've been amazing. I've been loving them. I love the Vibram Christie sole, which is a really good kind of it's really good for walking, I would say. And of course, we got the Stetson hat, fur felt, 100% rabbit felt hat. The deep pockets stay deep, of course. I don't think the materials in the pocket really shrink or anything like that. But yeah, I think this worked out pretty well. I was a little bit scared that they were going to shrink too much and that I should have gone for a 34 by 34 and did an aggressive shrink, because this still has shrink left. If I did like a hot wash and dried them in a dryer, I think I would still fit in them, but they would be, like they would be too tight is what I'm saying. But yeah, I think I mentioned that I'm not much of a cuffer, so I usually just stack. I mean, I understand that when the inseam is not super long, it's not considered stacking. It's kind of just like a hemmed pant, or your natural inseam length. But I don't know, whatever you want to call it, I just like to have one long line, which is kind of, it elongates the leg, I suppose. Whereas if you flip the cuff, it starts to break the leg visually, and it makes it look a little bit shorter. But does it really matter that much? Not really. I just kind of like the clean line, I guess. It's kind of the aesthetic I prefer, is just like simple, clean. I mean, if you look at my websites, you'll probably notice. Splished.com, I go through in detail all the different methods of how to shrink these and what to look out for, how to get them super cheap. I bought these for $21. $21, bruh? $21.